Melissa Hooper with the Energy People Group, a group specializing in people operations and recruiting. My passion is to help bring the world of work and our evolving world together. I'm going to share with you today some top 5 trends for the future of work that I think you need to know. First trend that I would like to talk about are the upcoming labor shortages and challenges that we're going to see with that, and the need for the workforce to be a little bit more flexible, as well as employers needing more flexibility. The labor shortages are going to be caused by the baby boomers kind of graduating out of the workforce, where they're not going to look to be what's called optimally employed, which is 40-hour work week. They may look to maybe have some part-time jobs or job sharing, where 2 people share the job duties of one role. And so employers are going to be a little bit more flexible, whether that's a 980 schedule or some other type of flex schedule that might allow folks who wouldn't normally participate in the workforce to want to join. Technology, productivity, and remote work are going to be the bridge for this gap. Second trend that I'd like to highlight is artificial intelligence and the transfer of knowledge. In my previous trend, we talked about the labor force worker shortages that we can expect with the baby boomers retiring out of the workforce. Artificial intelligence has already started to permeate our world of work more and more as technology becomes more affordable and more accessible. And this trend is going to continue and probably magnify as we utilize AI to help kind of lessen the shortage of workers. The AI will need to be taught, trained, and tested. This creates a unique opportunity for those who are looking for more flexible work arrangements or have a great amount of knowledge to transfer to participate in this new wave of AI in work. AI is also increasing the technification of our work, where previously lower skilled or vocational roles didn't need as much technical input or education. We'll talk about that in my next trend. The third trend I'd like to highlight is the technification of work and the Internet of Things. As discussed in our previous point, AI, automation are increasingly bringing technology to roles that didn't previously have it. So for example, back in the day, mechanics only need to know their way around a toolbox. Nowadays, they're called auto technicians, and they need to know how to service cars with smart chips and electronics. So we're going to see increasingly that these vocational and skilled trades are going to require more IT training, and that's going to create some challenges for us that can be solved by looking at the next trend. The fourth trend that I would like to discuss is upskilling and reskilling. So in the previous trends, we talked about labor shortages caused by the baby boomer generation aging out of the workforce or needing to maybe not put in as many hours. We talked about the technification of work and the increasing amount of AI and automation in jobs that were previously vocational or just skilled trades. So what this means for you is that you need to always be learning. And that is my favorite piece of advice that I can give to anyone. And the best way I can explain this is from Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, where the Red Queen and Alice are running as fast as they can. And they're going nowhere, they're staying in the same place. And Alice is like, "This is really curious, Red Queen." And the Red Queen said, "Well, it's not. We have to run to stay in the same place." So what that means for you is that the world is ever evolving. We are increasingly becoming more automated. We are increasingly bringing technology into our world of work. So that means that you are always going to have to be learning and getting tools to help your learning. You are responsible for your career journey and obtaining the tools and resources that you need to keep up with the world of work and be successful. The fifth trend that I would like to share with y'all is multi-generational challenges in the workforce. So for the first time ever in history, we have 5 generations that are all in the workforce at the same time. They all come from different periods of time with different formidable experiences and things that shaped their lives on a macro level. So we have the silent generation, we have the baby boomers, we have Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. And honestly, Gen Alpha is not far behind. So what does this mean for the world of work and why this is a trend? We are going to need to see an increasing amount of emotional intelligence and communication skills in the workforce. So think about it. You have 5 generations spanning different work norms, different periods of time that they had, their formidable work experiences, and then add to that the technological divide that we have based on the incredible amount of technology that has evolved since the 1950s. So what I'd like to say with that is that we're going to need to have more emotional intelligence, and we're also going to have a little bit more introspection and understand our own unconscious biases. So for example, for baby boomers and Gen X, they may value FaceTime. And so in this world of remote work that is now socially acceptable due to the pandemic and other social and cultural changes over the last few years, although it's acceptable, there still may be an unconscious bias towards folks who remote work. Vice versa, you can have some of the younger generations maybe having some unconscious bias towards the older generations. Maybe they're not, tech savvy enough. So these are going to be some things that, in your workplace and in your companies, we're going to have to give folks some tools to manage this.